Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 34 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother 26. All right, it's Wednesday. Sometimes Tuesday nights can get a little slow. People are just kind of waiting until we get to Thursday and the eviction and everything that takes place then. Yesterday, a little more chill than usual, but what we did have was some campaigning from two of the three people who were on the block, did a little bit of campaigning. And we had a whole lot of people questioning their position in the game, who they can trust, who they can't trust. A lot of people starting to think forward, not just to next week in the new HOH, but thinking into the jury phase. There was some talk about potential battle backs, things like that. So we're going to cover all of that. First of all, just as a reminder, Tucker's HOH. Tucker had the veto power. Tucker used the veto to pull Quinn off the block, put Chelsea back on the block. So at this point in time, we've got Chelsea and Cam and Brooklyn, all three on the block. One of them will pull themselves off on Thursday. Tomorrow, I can't believe it's tomorrow. One of them will pull themselves off the block tomorrow. One of the other two will be going home. And so with that, let's get right into the live feeds and everything that was going on yesterday. We're going to start off with a conversation between Chelsea and McKenzie going on. Chelsea is warning MJ that Tucker and Rubina are controlling the underdogs, controlling the floaters. They're basically, she's basically telling McKenzie that, hey, those two, they control everyone in the house that's not over on our side, and you just need to be aware of that. She's saying that they're going to try to pull in Leah in addition to some of the underdogs, everyone that they've already got. And that Tucker's goal really is to get out all the competitors in the house so he can just coast the rest of the way. Chelsea points out to McKenzie, says, he puts you on the block. I mean, he's trying to get you out just like everyone else. He wants the competitors gone. He wants those underdogs and floaters left so he can just run the entire house. She feels like she's telling McKenzie that really Rubina's controlling the underdogs. Tucker's winning competitions. The two of them together are just going to run roughshod through the rest of the season. She's reminding MJ that Tucker wanted Chelsea to put up MJ when Chelsea had HOH. She said, yeah, like 5 minutes in, he was saying, put you up. So don't think Tucker's your friend, McKenzie. It was basically the hint implications of all of this. McKenzie is saying that she has trusted Tucker to some degree so far, but she's going to call him out if she thinks that he's playing her at this point in time. Now, I think, from McKenzie's standpoint, I think most of this is show. I think McKenzie's trusting Tucker more than she's saying. I think she feels more comfortable with Tucker in that side, but she's playing, and she says several times that she's playing the lone wolf, and she's doing some of that as she talks to Chelsea. And Chelsea's taking the bait and telling her you can't trust Tucker, Rubina. They're just going to run everything if they get the chance to do it. Chelsea is telling McKenzie that the alliances on the other side of the house are the underdogs and the 5 points. She's saying that the only alliance that's really still left is the underdogs. Brooklyn was part of the 5 points. It's kind of gone, but she's saying the underdogs are still a thing, and you're not part of it, MJ, so just be aware. All right, we've got Brooklyn and Chelsea comparing notes a little bit. Brooklyn is trying to explain what she had said to Rubina. Rubina is still a little perturbed that no one tried to save her. Well, a bunch of people tried to save her, but the fact that Brooklyn and Chelsea and Cam did not try to save her at the vote last Thursday. And Brooklyn is telling Chelsea what she had told Rubina. And it's something about that having to vote with the house, that there was confusion. And if someone had done something that the votes could have gotten messed up. And the person who then got pulled off in their vote, and what were they going to do? I don't know. Just a whole lot of trying to do damage control and explain why she wanted to save Rubina, but she didn't have a choice to do it. So she's telling Chelsea all about what she told Rubina with that. She also says that she told Rubina that Tucker would be her target if she stays. She said, I don't know if that helps or hurts, but I might as well just be honest with Rubina and say I'm going for Tucker, and everyone knows it anyway, so I'll just say it out there, and hopefully that helps me with some other people in the house. Chelsea is wondering about what Tucker thinks about Rubina and Kimo and T-Core. Are they really a group, or what's going on with that? Brooklyn is thinking that Tucker probably only trusts Rubina, but then Rubina is keeping the other two safe because she likes T-Core and Kimo. And so that's how that group of four has more or less come together. All right, we've got Tucker and McKenzie talking a little bit. Again, McKenzie's talking to some of the other side a little bit, but she's giving a lot of the information in back to Tucker. McKenzie's saying that Brooklyn and Chelsea have nothing else at this point, that their game's been blown up, and that really the only thing they have left is just to play the game very personally, to try to save themselves. She mentions that I guess Brooklyn is mentioning multiple times that she's a mother in this house, that she's playing the game for her kids and to make them proud and all that. So she's trying to use a little bit of a personal angle to her campaigning. She's also mentioning something, or I think Tucker says, yeah, she was saying that I was yelling at her, and yeah, what she mean yelling? I wasn't yelling at her. So they're both just thinking that they're going beyond the strategy and the logic, and trying to make a little more personal to their campaigns themselves. Tucker is rehashing McKenzie his whole conversation that he had with Brooklyn yesterday, that we talked about in the Overnight Feeds recap last night. He's wondering if Cedric, they're both wondering if Cedric really volunteered to go up on the block last week. They're thinking probably not. And Tucker's just wondering why Cam wasn't put up there to try to win the AIBB arena instead. McKenzie's probably pretty happy that that wasn't the case. But they are talking about that a little bit. Tucker is still complaining about Brooklyn messing up his clothes, saying it was no need for it. He's saying these hide and go vetoes, there's no way someone could have hit it. It was too big to hide in someone's clothes. So why would you ever mess with someone's clothes? It just has really irritated him as much as he has talked about it for the last few days. Makes me think, if I'm in the house, it's a little bit of psychological warfare. I think I'd be screwing with Tucker's clothes all the time. Not a lot. Just pull one off the hanger. I don't know. Just turn it sideways or unbutton it the wrong way or something. Because I feel like you could really get under Tucker's collar. Pardon the pun. But no, I feel like you could really have some fun and screw with Tucker a little bit just by continuing to mess with those clothes. Just get him on edge a little bit. You got to have a little fun in the house, right? But yeah, he's still complaining about Brooklyn messing up his clothes. All right, we've got Chelsea and Rubina talking. Chelsea is telling Rubina that, hey, Rubina's talking about Tucker and the relationship. We've heard the conversations a few times. Chelsea saying, explore it. Y'all are both in the house. Just explore it, see what's going on. Chelsea is saying that she prays for Tucker because she sees him as a broken kid, that she thinks he may have a few issues here and there. But yeah, she's telling Rubina, go for it. If you want to, now, if I'm Chelsea, I'm going to encourage all kinds of people to have showmances and get into interpersonal relationships and things like that, and see if I can't get them to take some of the focus off the game and maybe make themselves a little bit more of a target by getting too close as well. So yeah, Chelsea saying, hey, go for it, Rubina, check it out, see what you can do with them. All right, we've got Cam saying that he took theater while he was in college. Not really important at all. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that Cam was still in the house, because that was kind of his contribution for the night. He talked a little bit later, but Cam's kind of just not really campaigning. Yeah, Cam's just kind of hanging out. But he took theater in college. All right, Joseph is pointing out to Leah that he and Leah and T-Core are the only house guests left who haven't been on the block. So again, Joseph and Leah and T-Core, 3 people out of the 16 that came in that have still not been on the block. It's pretty amazing. We've got a lot of bouncing around going on. At this point in my season, there were still 7 people who had not been on the block. So quite a few less this time around, this season 26. Now, keep in mind, you're nominating 3 people at a time, whereas a regular season, you're only nominating 2. So the twist is making it a lot more likely that a lot more people are going to see the block. But yeah, Joseph's pointing this out. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be pointing out to a lot of people that I haven't been on the block yet, because people may think it's your turn if it comes down to just having to flip a coin kind of deal. And sure enough, later on, Joseph says, don't tell a lot of people that. Really, don't tell people that, Leah. Well, she ends up telling Quinn that a little bit later, and Quinn says, yeah, I wouldn't. If I was Joseph, I probably wouldn't say that either. But she does pass that on to Quinn that, yeah, only 3 people who haven't been on the block yet. All right, we've got Tucker and Joseph are talking. Joseph is really feeling comfortable with Tucker right now and feeling like he really has, as Kimo would say, has Tucker's ear. And so there's been a lot of talking between these two. Joseph is saying that some of the house guests, and I think he may have been talking about Brooklyn. I don't know that for certain, but he was telling Tucker that while they were upstairs, that some of the house guests were making fun of Joseph's athletic ability or lack thereof. And he's feeling a little uncomfortable about that. I know he's already had times where there were people, I think this was Brooklyn, complaining about the way Joseph walks, and yeah, just a few little things here and there. So he's complaining about that. Tucker is saying, don't worry, that he's got Joseph's back. It's not, just don't ignore that stuff. Don't worry about it, Joseph. Tucker is talking about his perfect eight, who he would like to see, I guess, a little past the jury phase, but his final eight that he would love to see. And it's basically the Sixth Avenue Alliance, which is Kimo and T-Core and Joseph and Rubina and Angela and Tucker. Those six plus Leah and plus Quinn. He'd like to see his final eight. Quinn keeps rising up in Tucker's rankings. It seems like he's now being included in a final eight. So Tucker's saying that. Tucker mentions to Joseph that Kimo and T-Core and Rubina have talked to Tucker about trying to form a final four at that point in time. So he's letting Joseph know that, hey, they're talking about trying to do something. Just FYI. Joseph is saying, yeah, it makes sense. He said, I think they'll probably work with you, Tucker. I think they'll probably hold you until maybe 8th or 9th place. So once we get a little past the jury, I think they'll go for you and try to get you at that point. But right now, while I need the numbers, the competition, everything, yeah, it makes sense, Tucker. I can see them doing that. Tucker is saying that Rubina thinks that he and Joseph have a final two. I don't know that they do. I haven't heard it officially stated. I certainly think Joseph thinks that they have, if nothing else, an unspoken final two. But Tucker's saying, yeah, Rubina thinks that we're the tightest, that we actually have a final two right now. Joseph is saying that Angela is starting to notice the group of T-Core and Kimo and Rubina, that they're hanging around a lot. She's starting to recognize that they may be a trio, an alliance of some sort. And so, be careful about that, Tucker. Angela has certainly noticed. And maybe this is a situation because Angela's part of the final six, or the Sixth Avenue. So if Angela is noticing that there's a few people that seem tighter than anyone else, it's all about those dang onions and layers and everything else. The group within a group and all that. And Angela may be seeing that she's not part of that inner group if she sees those three together. So we'll see what happens with all of that as we go forward. All right, we've got Kimo talking about I think he's talking to Quinn, saying that, yeah, it's kind of lonely in the have-not room, and that he's been studying his days quite a bit, trying to make sure he's good to go on that. Quinn says he hadn't studied those things yet. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second, Quinn. All right, we've got Tucker and Rubina talking to each other. Tucker is saying that Quinn is giving him lots of information, but he still doesn't really have any reason to trust Quinn. Right? Bring on the information, and we've heard him say he wants him maybe as his final eight, but he still doesn't trust Quinn necessarily. But he'll certainly take the information while he can. Rubina is saying that Chelsea had said that if she won HOH, that she wouldn't put up Tucker or Rubina on the block. So Rubina is saying, she says she wouldn't put us up if she won HOH, and I kind of believe her. Do you really, Rubina? I'm not sure Tucker believes her, but and I don't think that's necessarily truly the case, Rubina. But Rubina wants to believe that Brooklyn and Chelsea have her best interest at heart, as no matter how much has been pointed out to her that they really don't. They did vote for you to go home last week, Rubina, but she just really wants to think that they've got her best interest at heart. And so she's telling Tucker that, hey, yeah, I kind of believe her when she says she wouldn't put the two of us up. I don't believe her. I don't believe her at all. All right, Rubina says she kind of believes her. Tucker's saying, I don't believe anyone in this house. At this one, I don't believe anyone. Tucker is thinking that this week could be a double eviction. No, I'm pretty sure it's not. One, we don't know about it here in the outside world. We don't have an extended schedule on Thursday. They still had the backyard last night. I think they lost it first thing this morning, but still to not lose the backyard until Wednesday tells me that there's not a whole lot of really complicated building going on in the backyard. So that, I don't think it's the case. The other thing too, I think we're to the last jury member, and I don't think you would have a double eviction where the first person that goes home does not make the jury. The second person that goes home does make the jury. Is it possible? Sure, I guess it is, but I think it's much more likely that you could have a double eviction the following week so that you end up with two people going to the jury house at one time instead of just one person going to the jury house. Now, here's one other thing just to throw out there from a production standpoint. If you had a double this week, First person goes home, they're not on jury, we assume. Second person goes to jury, which means that they have to have a jury house up and running up in the hills of Hollywood or wherever the jury house is. You've got to have that jury house up and running, people there monitoring and taking care of business and all of that. If you only have a single this week and you have a double eviction the following week, it puts off by 1 week when you have to open up that jury house and pay rent on your house and things like that. Production takes a look at these budgets and monetary and all of that. And for that reason alone, I think we won't have a double until maybe next week. But we'll find out. All right. But Tucker's thinking it could be a double eviction this week. I mentioned they are losing the backyard tonight. They should have lost it by now. Again, kind of late in the week. We normally lost ours Tuesday mornings. All right. Tucker is saying that McKenzie keeps catching Brooklyn and Chelsea in lies. But that one, he says, McKenzie's kind of playing along so she can figure out what kind of information she can get from him and all of that. But he's also saying that McKenzie's playing a pretty truthful game at this point in time, and that he's feeling pretty good that he did not put her up on the block, that it didn't go that direction. And so, yeah, he's feeling good that McKenzie's still in the game at this point in time. All right, we've got McKenzie and Rubina talking. McKenzie's saying that she's been honest with Tucker, that she feels like he has her back as a result of that. She's saying that she is a lone wolf. She told someone, and I think it may have been Rubina right here, I didn't write down notes, that she's been telling a lot of people that she's a lone wolf, that she's really been trying to spin, that she's got no one in the house because she doesn't want anyone on the other side to think that she kind of has Tucker watching her back, that maybe she's got Rubina, a few other people, that she wants them to think that she absolutely has no one and nothing to see what kind of information she can gain. So she's telling Rubina that she's just this lone wolf. She's saying that Brooklyn and Chelsea know that she is alone, or at least kind of suspect that she's alone. So they're trying to plant seeds in her to make her suspicious against Rubina and Tucker and anyone else that's not Chelsea or Brooklyn or Cam. All right, we've got Kimo talking to T-Core. Kimo's telling T-Core that he's worried because Tucker and Joseph both seem to have changed their tone about Cam a little bit here recently, that they're not just saying, yeah, he's kind of a pawn, he's not our top target, to more saying, yeah, he got roped in, and yeah, he's Kimo, it just seems like he thinks they're being a little more positive about Cam, and so that's got him a little bit worried about it. If there's any possibility, any opportunity for paranoia to set in, Kimo's going to fully take advantage of it because he worries about all of this. So yeah, he's worried about Tucker and Joseph, and what is their connection with Cam at this point. T-Core is worried because there's conversation where Chelsea said that she might keep keep Cam over Brooklyn. I thought I covered that. Maybe I may have these out of order a little bit, but anyway, yeah, basically she had told T-Core that, if I have to go with the house, I've got to think long term, and if I have to go with the house and that means voting out Brooklyn instead of Cam, then I may have to do that, as painful as it's going to be. That really is sitting wrong with T-Core. The fact that those two ladies aren't so tight that they would support each other no matter what has T-Core a little bit nervous as well. All right, we've got Brooklyn and Kimo talking. Brooklyn and Kimo talking. Brooklyn is saying that, hey, Tucker beats anyone in a final two. If he makes it to the final two chair in finale night, he's going to beat anyone if he stays in the house. And so she's telling Kimo, she said, look, I'm going to put up Tucker. I'm going for Tucker if I stay in this house. In other words, I'm not going for you. She says, I'm going to put up Tucker. I'll probably put up Joseph next to Tucker. That's who I'm going for. I'm being honest with you here. And it is what it is. She's saying, I will not touch you, Kimo. I will not touch T-Core. I will not touch Rubina. Y'all are not my targets. You don't have to worry about that if I stick around in this house. So we've got a lot of that campaigning going on from Brooklyn at this point in time. She is saying that her perfect final five, if she had a say on it, would be herself and Chelsea and Kimo and T-Core and Rubina. That's who she'd like to see at the final five, if at all possible. Maybe a little difficult. They got to make it past Thursday night for that to happen. But she is letting Kimo know that he is part of her long-term plans if he'll just keep her in the house a little bit longer. All right, we've got Brooklyn and Angela talking. Brooklyn is saying that she's feeling what Angela felt when she was on the block, and she really she feels bad that Angela had to go through that because now she understands how rough it is. And Angela saying, well, at least you got at least you got Chelsea in the house with you. Y'all can talk back and forth and all. She said, I had no one whatsoever in the house, but yeah, I appreciate you saying you feel the same way about what it's like being on the block. Brooklyn is saying that she has Brooklyn saying, you have my word that I don't want to see you back on the block to go through this again. She didn't quite say, you have my word, I won't put you on. It was kind of a little more ambiguous than that, but saying, you have my word, I don't want you to have to go through this again. Well, you can take that a lot of different ways. All right, we've got Joseph with a little camera talk up in the have not room. He's saying he thinks he's doing pretty good in the game so far, but he needs to keep pushing, that he's going to go for the next HOH. It's time to win one of these things. Is that because he feels strategically he needs to, or is he feeling a little hurt that people maybe made fun of his athletic ability? It could be a little bit of each. He may feel from an ego standpoint that it's time to show people that he can actually play this game as well from the comp standpoint. But he thinks he's doing pretty well in the game itself. I think he's doing well. I think working with Tucker has certainly worked to his advantage. There's a lot of people that don't trust Joseph in this house right now, though. So that's the part he's got to be careful about. All right, we've got Chelsea also doing a little bit of a camera talk, not in the rock bedroom like normal. This time she was out in the hammock in the backyard. She's talking about how hard the house is, how hard the game is. I feel, Chelsea, I understand completely. But she's talking about that. She's thinking that if it's her and Brooklyn on the block come Thursday night, she probably could win against Brooklyn. And I think she's probably right on that. She says if it's her and Cam on the block, she thinks that she would have T-Core's vote. Well, I think she would, but she thinks she'd have T-Core's vote, Brooklyn's vote, Rubina's vote. She's hoping that she could get either Joseph or McKenzie to potentially vote for her well. She doesn't mention Kimo, but certainly she thinks if she's got T-Core's vote, she'd have Kimo's vote as well, right? So, yeah, Chelsea's trying to line up who would vote for her versus Cam and thinking she may be okay if it comes down to a vote against either one of these two. At the start of the week, I would have said Cam's good no matter what. Chelsea goes home if Brooklyn isn't there next to her. At this point in time, we'll see. We'll see how much influence T-Core has. If Brooklyn's off the block, can T-Core exert enough influence on the other people in this house to protect Chelsea as well? Because I think she would be her strongest advocate. All right, we've got Chelsea and Kimo talking a little bit. Chelsea is saying that if she wins the AIBB arena, this is what, I got a little bit out of order on this, but she says that if she wins the AIBB arena, so it's Brooklyn versus Cam, she'll make the tough call. She will vote with the house, she thinks, to evict Brooklyn, because she's got to think about her long-term game and building relationships back and things like that. And that's the part that has T-Core a little bit worried that she would send Brooklyn out over Cam. She's saying if she is HOH that she'll put up people who haven't touched the block yet. Well, as we heard earlier, there's only 3 people who haven't touched the block yet. So your choices are somewhat limited, Chelsea, at that point. Even more so because she then follows that up by saying, I won't put up T-Core, not as a nom, not as a renom. I'm not going to do that. So I guess if you win HOH, Chelsea, you're basically limiting yourself to Leah and Joseph, right? Those are the only 2 others that haven't been on the block. But yeah, she's saying she won't put up T-Core and she's going to go for the people who haven't been on the block yet. She's saying that Brooklyn isn't going to back down. I assume she's talking about campaigning and convincing and everything else. That Brooklyn's not going to back down. So she really needs to make sure her mind is right and she needs to stay on the ball. So she's doing her part and her share to try to make sure that she can stay in this house come Thursday. All right, we've got McKenzie and Rubina and T-Core talking a little bit. McKenzie again talking about being a lone wolf for the last 4 weeks, that she's just had no one at all. Rubina's saying, I feel the same way. No one comes and talks to me about anything. I think Rubina's got a little more pull than McKenzie, but she's saying, yeah, I feel the same way, McKenzie. T-Core is figuring that Quinn and Joseph are going to vote out Brooklyn if they have the opportunity to. She says that she might vote that way also. Well, especially if it's her versus Chelsea on the block, right? But T-Core saying, yeah, I think Quinn and Joseph will vote out Brooklyn. I very well may go that direction as well. McKenzie is saying, look, just keep me in the loop on voting. I want to be on the right side. So if the House starts deciding one way or the other based on who's out there, just keep me in the loop, please. All right, we've got MJ and Joseph talking just a little bit. Joseph telling McKenzie about how the collective formed, and that he formed it because he wanted to pull in anyone who wasn't attached to Matt that first week or wasn't aligned with Matt, and just kind of spelling out the early history of the collective. So getting McKenzie a little bit up to speed on that. All right, we've got McKenzie and Brooklyn talking a little bit. McKenzie did a lot of talking, right? She's not even on the block, and I feel like McKenzie's doing more talking than just about anyone else. McKenzie and Brooklyn are talking. Brooklyn is saying that if she wins the HOH, she's going to backdoor Tucker. She said that's all there is. That he is the target, and I don't want him give him the chance to play in the veto. So, McKenzie, I'll be putting Tucker up, but not as an initial nominee. I'm going to be putting him up as a backdoor instead. She didn't, as I recall, say who her initial nominees would be, and if I'm McKenzie, I'd be a little bit worried about that. But yeah, she's saying the target's going to be a backdoor of Tucker. They don't know what Joseph is thinking, neither one of them. Joseph probably would be one of the nominees if Brooklyn sticks around and if Brooklyn did get HOH. In fact, I know Joseph would be one of the nominees. No love lost between those two. All right. Major news. Well, not so major news, I suppose, but the ants are in the kitchen. Yeah, the ants finally made it from the backyard into the kitchen itself. They're everywhere. The house guests were moving food out of the storage, or out of the cabinets, moving it back to the storage room instead. The ants have taken over. I gotta say, I'm a little proud. During our season, they didn't take over until maybe week 9 or 10. It was much later in the season. The ants are on the warpath. They've already made it in the house. Once they get in, it's tough to get rid of them. And Big Brother does not give you the really toxic ant killers either. They give you some of the organic orange lotions, orange peel lotions or something that I think they just irritate the ants more than anything. But yeah, it's tough to get rid of those little dang ants once they get in the house, and they are definitely in the house. So we had some conversations and some activity around that. All right, we've got Kimo and Quinn talking. Kimo saying it was a bad day for personal reasons. What day is not a bad day for Eeyore Kimo? Kimo's just kind of a sad sack sometimes. I mean, that's the way sometimes people play the game and all that. But yeah, he was telling Quinn, just not a good day for personal reasons. Something about not being able to have the people in the house that you want to have. And I'm not sure if he's talking from a strategic standpoint or personal relationship standpoint. I don't know. Kimo's just not feeling on top of the world. I think a lot of paranoia, and that just makes you feel horrible about everything. And Kimo, as I mentioned before, certainly feeling a little nervous about his place in the game, everyone else's place, and so it's just having an overall effect on him. So he's not feeling great. Quinn says, "Hey, you want to talk about it? I'm here if you want to talk about it. It'd be fine." They don't really go into a lot of detail though. Quinn mentions, I think Kimo says, "How are you feeling?" And Quinn says, "Well, I kind of feel like it's a bit of a restart in this house with this flip that took place and all that. I kind of feel like a lot of people are starting over and new positions and all that. So kind of a new cool restart to it." All right, we've got T-Core and Kimo and Cam and Quinn all sitting around in the backyard talking. No strategy. They're talking about haircuts. We're to that point in time where people are maybe wanting to get their haircuts. It's been 35 days or so. There's talk that you get shears, is that trimmers and such on Thursdays. So there's some talk about some people cutting their hair, who they trust to cut their hair, who maybe they don't trust so much. A little bit of talk about haircuts inside the Big Brother house and barbers they go to outside the house and all. There's a little talk about driving stick shifts and all of that as well. So we have just non-game talk, them just hanging around for a little while. All right, we've got Leah and Angela. Leah has offered to bake Angela's birthday cake. Have-Not's in tonight, so pretty soon Angela's going to be off the Have-Not and able to enjoy her birthday cake. Leah's offered to bake it. Angela says, someone else actually offered it, but I'd rather have you do it. So yes, please, if you'd bake my cake, that'd be fantastic, Leah. Angela's also talking about all the food that she wants when the Have-Not's in tonight. She wants a big old BLT sandwich, and I think Leah tells her, hey, all we have left is turkey bacon, no pork bacon. And Angela's saying, nah, that's not going to work for me. So she's going to go into the diary room this morning and be requesting the food that she wants for her Have-Not meal tonight. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be celebrating with this Have-Not being over. All right, we've got T-Core and MJ and Chelsea talking. McKenzie's complaining that Angela's sitting next to her while she was trying to have a conversation with T-Core, and they just disrupted her conversation plans. She's saying that if McKenzie was to win HOH, that Angela is definitely going up. That is her target. I don't think she mentioned her by name, but she was very clear after talking about Angela sitting next to her. So she's saying, yeah, if I win HOH, she's going up. She says she's just skating by right now. She's tight with Tucker, and that saved her a little bit. She's just skating by, but not if McKenzie gets the HOH. Again, I think this is McKenzie maybe pointing out to the other people that you aren't my targets. So please, if any of you get power, don't come after me, because I'm telling you right now, I've got someone else in mind. So she's talking about that. McKenzie at one point says, yeah, I'm just feeling spicy today. So she's just kind of feeling it as everyone's getting a little pressured up as you get closer to the new HOH week. All right, we've got T-Core and Kimo touching bases with each other. It's funny, they said, we can't probably do one-on-ones again tomorrow, but today, by now. We can't do that every week or people are going to start getting suspicious. So we're going to have to be careful on that. But we got T-Core and Kimo talking. Kimo is saying that Chelsea had said that Tucker is her target, which worries Kimo a little bit. Kimo's saying Chelsea said that Tucker's her target, which worries Kimo. Kimo's just worried that other alliances are forming, that other people are forming together. Other people have Tucker's ears, and he's not aware of it, and that's bothering him. Tucker is saying that T-Core is saying that she for sure, if Chelsea's on the block, she for sure is not going to be voting her out. She isn't voting her out. She would like to have Chelsea and Cam remain in the game. She says, I want those two left in the game. Hopefully those two aren't on the block against each other. Hopefully one or the other pulls himself at the BB arena, or else, it's going to be difficult, because I want Chelsea and Cam in the game. So we know she's ready to vote out Brooklyn. She says, but having said that, she said, I can't forget that I was left out of the Pentagon. I was the only one left out of the Pentagon. Well, there were lots of people left out of the Pentagon, T-Core. Where are you getting at? I'm not sure on that. But yeah, she's feeling a little left out, knowing now that the Pentagon exists. She says that she talked to McKenzie a little bit earlier. And she just didn't feel good after, or during the conversation. Just didn't vibe well. All right, we've got T-Core and Cam talking a little bit. Yeah, Cam's still there. 2 appearances on the overnight recaps. T-Core's talking to Cam. Cam is saying he's looking forward to the AI BB arena, but he's nervous. Obviously, if you're in the block, you're going to feel a little nervous. T-Core's saying, look, you're well locked in the house. You should be good, probably, no matter what. Well, maybe. We'll see. He's saying he needs to talk to more people. He realizes he probably needs to be out there talking to a little bit more people. Well, your campaigning time's starting to run out, Cam. You might need to make those discussions happen. All right, T-Core is saying that even if he stays on the block, it seems like he would survive a vote. As of Monday, I would have said yes, absolutely. Now, if it's Chelsea versus Cam, again, we'll see how T-Core's influence works. He's saying if he gets pulled off, if he wins AIBB Arena and it's Chelsea versus Brooklyn, he's telling T-Core he'll vote to save Chelsea. And that's what she wants to hear. All right, we've got Tucker and Rubina up in the HOH room. The lights are turned off. The door has been locked. They are cuddling in the HOH bed. And then we lose the live feed. So a little mystery built into the Tucker, Rubina, showmance. Yes, no, we don't know, because the feeds went away. Not that showmance is just about what happens in the bedroom, but yeah, we lost the feed, so we don't know exactly how the rest of the evening went down right after that. All right, we've got Leah complaining to Angela about people making comments behind her back. Something about it. They said something about her swimsuit that had rhinestones on her or something. And she just feel like people aren't really giving her a lot of respect right now. She's telling Angela that she just feels like too many women have been taught to hate other women, and she's recognized it in the house. So Leah's not feeling great right now either. All right, we've got Kimo and Rubina outdoors. Kimo's wondering asking Rubina, saying, I'm just wondering, are all my people really my people? And Rubina's saying, well, yeah, they are. And I certainly am. And Kimo says, well, does that include Tucker as well? And she's like, well, I think so. Yeah. But yeah, Kimo just worried that there's stuff happening that he's not aware of, and vocalizing this to Rubina. Kimo is saying that he doesn't trust Joseph completely, Rubina says she doesn't either, but Kimo's worried because he says, Joseph keeps talking to Tucker, and I feel like he's feeding Tucker a lot of information, and I feel like Tucker is listening to Joseph. He doesn't listen to everyone, but I feel like he's listening to Joseph, and I do think Kimo's right on that particular regard. Tucker is listening, it seems like, and using Joseph to bring in information. Kimo is worried that Joseph thinks that he is a mastermind and he's going to try to control the house, which would include Tucker. So he's a little bit worried about that. Rubina is saying that she trusts Quinn a lot more than she trusts Joseph. And Kimo saying he agrees as well. Much more Quinn. We've heard him trying to get Quinn and Tucker to work together. Not so much Tucker and Joseph working together. So yeah, Kimo's agreeing with Rubina on that. They're talking about possible votes that could happen on Thursday. Rubina is saying that really when it comes down to it, Chelsea is better for their game than Cam is. So she may be on board with T-Core and Rubina's plan or desire to keep Chelsea in the game, even if it means send Cam out the door. Kimo is hoping that Cam wins the BBAI arena, because if not, it's going to be Cam versus Chelsea, and it's going to force them to maybe show their cards more than the way they want to. If it's Brooklyn up there, then they can just vote out Brooklyn and not worry. Cam and Chelsea are both protected at that point in time. Kimo is talking about a final four of him and T-Core and Tucker and Rubina. This is what Tucker had mentioned a little previously to Joseph, if I recall. Well, Kimo's vocalizing the same thing. He's worried that Tucker may not want to have a final four inside the 6th Avenue Alliance, a core group within a group. He said, he saw the Pentagon and the collective and how that blew up. He may not be ready to commit to a final four just now as much as we want it. Tucker may not really be gung-ho for it. They're both worried that Joseph and Tucker may have a final two. That's their big concern, is that maybe they aren't Tucker's most important loyalties right now. And then finally, we've got, close to it. We've got T-Core and Kimo touching bases at the very end of the evening. T-Core saying that Chelsea is the best one to save. That's who they need to protect at all costs come Thursday. They think that they can get Leah and Quinn both to vote to save Chelsea, regardless of whether it's Cam or Brooklyn on the block. They think they've got those 2 votes. So that's 4. They just need 1 more to make sure that Chelsea is protected. So that's the goal. Come Thursday, make sure Chelsea, whether still on the block or not, that she does not go home on Thursday. And there you have it, guys. Everyone in bed by 4 o'clock or so, Big Brother time. So a decently late evening, but they'll have today to do a little last minute campaigning. Tomorrow gets busy with getting ready for the live show and all that. They do lose the backyard all day today, so they're all going to be locked indoors. So we'll get just that much more whispering and paranoia, inspiring, and everything else that makes this show exciting to watch. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Wednesday. Enjoy your day. I'll be back tomorrow morning. We've got a TV episode on this evening on CBS, so we'll see that, and they'll be back in the morning to give you an update on everything that happened overnight and see who's voting for who come tomorrow evening. Till then, guys, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.